we live in a world where everybody wants everybody else to live in perfection, but they want to still live in humanity. And I'm gonna say that one more
Mm.
time.
Welcome back to What's Up With You. Tonight we got my man Sam at Next Level Talk of the NEXTLEVELTALK.com. My man Sam is a mindset coach, positivity coach, a mental coach. Every morning, just about every morning, he goes live. He inspires people. He be at the beach. He got a dog. He be running. He's just a very inspirational dude. I've known Sam for a long time, but I hadn't seen or talked to you in who knows how long, right?
Hey, man. Hey, everything happens for a reason, man. Now we come back together, man. We got to go on our journey, see what's out there, and we got to come back. I appreciate you having me on the show, man. I like the things you're doing. I see what you're doing, and I'm ready to get into it. Spirituality and relationships. Let's get to it.
Yeah. So, tell me about your spiritual journey. Like, where you been, where you at, where you going. Tell me how you got to where you are.
And that's a great question. I mean, we come from the same area, the DMV. We've seen a
Mm-hmm.
lot of things. We experienced a lot of things. So over the past, I could say 10 years, I've been on this journey. I wanted to see something different. I wanted to get outside my environment and try something new. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people, a lot of naysayers say, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I always been that child, I always been that kid, I always been that person. So to really not listen to what they say and just do it. Take the risk. So on this journey, I just been so many places. I've done it, a whole bunch of things. Just not listening to what people say, because what I learned is they listening or they're talking from their perception of what they've been through. And that's just one thing I just never stood by. I mean, back in the day, I did a lot of things. So I never changed. I just got wiser. So, and on a bigger scale. So that's where it's at.
Okay. Were you heavily in the church as a child, or were you spiritual as a kid, or were you just kind of a normal kid and then it popped off later on in life?
Yeah, so you gonna get all of it out of me today. All right,
Hey, dog,
so
when I interview people, look, hold up. This is what I tell people. Look, this your show. I'm just the host. This is all about you. Now, every morning you make it about other people, but for the next hour, this is about you. This is all about you. Now, you're more than welcome to ask me questions, but this is about you, dog.
hey, no, I'm gonna do my assignment today. So growing up, I've then experienced every religion. Every religion. I knock no religion. That's why I say no judgment zone, no God box. And for the
Mm,
people that follow me, they know I do no judgment. I let everybody express themselves of what they've been through, how they done it. And on this journey, I've learned, this all I can speak from my perception. They all saying the same thing.
mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when I learned that I gotta have a relationship with God, like my relationship with God. So I don't look at religion like that. Like I've grown up to, how can I say this? I don't want to be politically correct, but I just want to come straight forward. I just got my own
Mm-hmm.
relationship with God. I love Christianity. That's what I grew up. So I consider myself a Christian, but I don't knock any other religion. I was taught this religion going to hell, that one there, this and that. I don't get all into that because that's not my place to judge. I just love all. Like my heart is real big. I just love everybody. And some people can't understand that. Well, they do this and they do that. Hey, that's not my assignment. My assignment is just to love all. That's what the good book say. Y'all
Right.
do all that other stuff. I get along with everybody. What they do in their spare time or what they do, that has nothing to do with me. So a lot of people just don't understand that piece about me.
Mm. So that's kind of similar to me. So I mean, one of the religions that I've kind of dabbled into is Buddhism, and I absolutely like, I love meditation, man. Like, I haven't, I meditate daily, but at one point, when I was living by myself, I could meditate for like 2 hours, bro.
Come on
And,
now. Come on
and,
now.
and man, it was just like the greatest, darkest, warmest place ever. You know what I'm saying? And you're able to just receive so much information and be able to not control but observe and manage your emotions and stuff like that. And so,
Absolutely.
are there any other, I know you said, you respect all religions. Were there any others that really, tickled your fancy outside of Christianity?
But let's be honest, let's be real on here. I studied all of them because I would have to get understanding for myself. One thing I do is I read. I read a lot. When I mean a lot, I read a lot. So I understood Buddhism, Judaism, Muslim. I understand. And I take a piece from each one of them because in the great book, you need to do all those. It say meditation. Buddhism do meditation.
Right.
Muslim, they pray. I pray. I do those things. So I take a piece of each and every one of each religion and I apply it to my life because God is everywhere. I always say this. God is omnipresent. In my head, this is my head. This is just my feelings. I don't believe that the creator is looking down and saying, hey, you're wrong over here, but you're right. And I'm going to get all my love over here, but you're not going to get that. Now, he said he made all the creatures, right? So that's just how I live my life.
So you're a very positive person. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see you, online, you're very positive. Something that I wanted to ask you is, how do you maintain your faith and positivity through the difficult times?
That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second.
Take your time, baby. This is your show. I'm just the host.
Hey, nah, this your show. We gonna get it. So, yes, I'm a very positive person, but I do fall. I don't want, and that's why I show on my social media that it's all. Zig Ziglar said this: positivity does nothing. It really does nothing, but it does everything better than negativity. So why shouldn't I just go on the positive side and look at things from that positive side, regardless of the things that perceived to be negative? Like, for example, I just got in a car accident. I'm hurt. I'm hurting. I'm hurting. But I looked at the positive in it. I can show somebody else, look, during this hard time, you can get through. Focus on the good. Not looking at a monetary value, of course, it comes with it if you got hit, but I focus on everything that was positive. Hey, I'm still here. I get to be around my family. I'm there. I'm this. But some people going to focus on and tell the whole world, oh, I got hit. Hey, that's an event. It happened one time. I'm not going to keep living that over. Why? Why should I live that over? Why should I keep doing that? Yes, I'm hurting. Yes, I have to get treatment. Yes, I got to do all those things come with it. Nothing is going to be perfect in life, and I think we live in a world where everybody wants everybody else to live in perfection, but they want to still live in humanity. And I'm gonna say that one more time. They want everybody to live in perfection, but they want their self to live in humanity because they give the spill. I'm not. God didn't make me perfect, but you looking at everybody else to do something perfect that. You get where I'm coming from? Like, you want this person to do this in your head because you envision it, but you can do everything wrong. But when you look at somebody else, it's like, you should have did this. And this is going on in the world all over. I mean, we can name celebrities, we can name regular people. You looking at them to do everything right because it's in your head, and it's not like that. That's a mindset. Like, your mindset need to change. Like, have compassion, have empathy.
So you're talking about when I say our, not necessarily me and you, I'm talking about our and the general people, our expectation of other people to be perfect or faultless.
In my opinion, I feel like it's like that. Like, we all know they're going to love you, they're going to hate you, and then they're going to love you again. I mean, we experience that in family. We experience that with friends. Just because we didn't do that one thing right in their head, that they really needed us. But what about all those other things? What about all those other things that help you to get to where you at? Because I didn't answer the phone call at this moment when you need it. I got life going on too. Like, people really don't realize, like, you only really see a person for 10 minutes, 7 minutes. What about the other 1,874 minutes? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just in their head because they want what they want at that time and not thinking about anything that else happened. Life happens. Things happen. I mean, when you really think about God, like everybody is praying. I'm gonna open up people's mindset. Everybody is praying to God, and He's gonna answer all your prayers. So God is doing all this switching and this and that. Just think about it. He got to juggle all this. God, you just asked me for that prayer. Now you want to not. So I got to, like, you got to really look at that. And I know it's like people like, what is he talking about? Like, really think about. You're confusing God sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're undecided. You're a double-minded creature. You're lukewarm. And God is like, I'm still gonna fulfill my promise. Right. And that's when it all is. I ain't gonna get too deep with that. We're gonna let you keep going.
Nah. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Take me to church, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you.
I ain't doing no church. We are having church when one or two come together. And no offense to anybody that goes to the building. Hey, that's good. One thing COVID showed me is that when I was younger, and I'm not going to call the denomination out, they programmed me to believe that if you don't go to this church, you was going to hell. But we wasn't going to church during COVID. So is everybody going to hell?
We all just gonna be down there, huh? Just burning.
That's what I'm just saying. That's why I just said I'm a mindset coach. I don't talk about religion. I don't talk about politics, and I don't talk about COVID because that's confusion. And one thing I learned about God is not the author of confusion. We just here to love. Everybody experienced something that we don't know about, or why they shape the way they move and why they do what they do.
Wow. So let me ask you this. So my favorite quote from Jesus, right? And I wanted your opinion on this, right? The kingdom of heaven is within you, right? And like you said, God is everywhere. So I really just want to hear you talk about that particular line and the way you extrapolate that, considering we both agree that God is everywhere.
Can you say that one more time?
I
put the do not disturb came through, and I don't want to be disturbed. Come on, smartphone. You got to be smarter than that.
You got to put that. You got to create a whole new joint. So what I was saying is my favorite line, my favorite spiritual line is the kingdom of heaven is within you, right? And the reason it's my favorite line is because that's the answer, right? That tells you like it's here, it's now, it's always with you. It's not out there, it's right here. And I just wanted to hear you speak on that. I want to hear you talk about the experience of having that understanding that God is everywhere.
Great question. This is how I'm going to answer that question. The kingdom of heaven is within you, right? I say this from this standpoint. God has his gift where nobody else can take it, right? With inside you. We are all made in his image, correct? Right. So God is with you and always been with you. God don't leave us, we leave God. And that's a mindset. If you don't realize that God is still with you regardless of what you do, because Jesus came and paid all our sins already. It's already accounted for. But we forget that part. So what I'm trying to say is that God never left us. So the kingdom of heaven, God is within. He's in everybody. It's up to you to choose if you're going to accept God or not. That's your choice. So I don't know if I answered the question the way you want it, but that's just how I envision it.
Nah, it's an open-ended question, so it's always the right answer. I do got a question from the audience. Mimi says, what advice does he have for someone wanting to elevate spiritually? Any particular practices, texts, etc.?
Got you. What advice do he have for someone wanting to elevate spiritually? First, you have to, in my opinion, what I did, I went to go get therapy. I would say it to the day I die. Go talk to somebody that doesn't know you and just let you release. That's the first thing I would do, because I believe that we sometimes are stuck in our childhood traumas, and I'm speaking from experience. Like, we going into a relationship. The reason why I'm saying this personally on the live, the reason why my relationship and work, like, I'm a great guy. I go over and beyond. I'm consistent. I'm disciplined. But what I've learned, and I had to read this book, The 5 Love Language, you can do all the things for a woman or your partner, But if you're not doing it to their love language, you're really not making no traction. And I had to learn that. Like, so if you want to elevate spiritually, you got to read. Yes, the Bible is the guide. I am not knocking that. I read my word almost every day. I'm not going to sit here and waste lives. Almost every day. I read a scripture probably every day. But you got to read other things because the Bible don't talk about depression in depth. It doesn't talk about crypto in depth. It doesn't talk about you seeing your sister getting raped by your uncle and how you deal with that. Like, it doesn't talk about that. So I really believe that God had made certain people go through things just like in the Bible days to give us a guide and a perception of how to deal with things. So that's why you got to read books. That's why, like, okay, I'm dealing with this. Let me go see what this person wrote about that. I'm going to get the meat, but I'm going to separate the fat. Everything is not going to go with you 100%. We so focus on the negative, you automatically go, well, I don't agree with that. Well, what about the 80% of the things that you do agree with? Why you didn't focus on that part? You focus so much on the one thing that you didn't agree because your mind is already focused on that because of this thing I call television. That's why I stopped watching it and program myself to only look at it on Sundays, because if you keep watching something over and over, it's really going to get in your psyche. It's repetition. Remember when you was younger, elementary school, I don't know how old you are, but they always told you, and I always do this, I do this. Oh, I only got my book with me. You got to write it down a whole bunch of times. I am controlling my emotion and feelings. That's my biggest affirmation. I was raised by females. I got some type of emotion. That's what I seen. They were emotional creatures, let's be honest. So I got a lot of that in me. So I had to say, God, I haven't seen a male figure like that. I am emotional. Sometimes I do act out of emotion. So I got to write these things down plain. So to the lady question, I don't remember what it was because I went all around. But to elevate yourself spiritually, like, you got to read. You got to get around different people, because I always say this, your day ones only remember you really from day one. They can't see. Sometimes they not seeing you elevate. And they like, girl, you remember when you did this? Or, man, you used to do this. Like, I'm not there no more. But you hold on because of a certain bond or a connection. Like, I ain't going to get into that. I would just stop right there.
So I won't go too personal because I'm not interested in putting family and friends business out there. But I recently went through something similar to where it's like, listen, I'm not the person. I'm 39, by the way, so I'll be 40 this year.
Hey,
But
the big. Okay, guys.
Hey. But my point being is that I had to explain to somebody, like, listen, like, I'll be 40 this year. You can't expect me to be the same person I was when we were 20. Right? Like you said, I read a lot of books. I've taken the time to learn who I am in this moment. I've taken the time to learn who and what my shadow self is, the aspects of myself that need work. And I'm also free of most of society's expectations of me. I'm fine. Like, I'm okay with me. It's you're the one that's not okay with me. You got to figure out a way to be okay with me, because I am. Two most important words in language. I am who I am.
Absolutely. Somebody put in there, it's important to read books, but do we ever read ourselves? Absolutely, you got to read yourself. Should I answer that or should I keep going?
Feel free. Yeah,
Of course we
free to
read
talk,
ourselves.
bro.
Yeah, like Cello, you said something about Jesus. Like, I understand. I'm sorry. I understand why Jesus went in the mountains for 40 days and 40 nights. Like, he had to go learn himself, like, because he was listening to all the opinions of everybody else. Everybody was telling him what to do, and he was sent by God to do a certain assignment, and everybody putting their own spin on it. So yes, I gotta go. I do it all the time, and people say, "Oh, why you just separate yourself from the world?" I got to learn who I am.
Yeah. I mean, that's the journey of life, right? It's like, regardless of the empathy I can feel for your pain, right? I still have to filter that experience through this being, right? Everything I experience is through this being. So it's crazy, like you talked about the tell our vision. Like you said, it's all programming. And it's like this whole thing is designed to convince you to constantly look outside yourself, to always be looking at the TV, to always look at what somebody else is doing. And if you're lucky or enlightened enough, or if someone else pops you open, you'll turn that vision back around and be like, hold on, there's an actual living spiritual being in here. Like, let me see what's up with this guy.
Hey,
right?
I say this, and I'm not trying to be funny. If you talking, who listening? When you all by yourself, if you talking, who's listening? But we ain't gonna get on
Quietly.
that. Let's move on to the next one.
Nah,
Let's go.
nah,
Let's
nah.
go.
I like that. I like that because my list of questions is we'll get to those if we get to them. Because I remember the first time, I don't remember which spiritual teacher it was or what book I was reading, and they said the same thing you said. They were like, if you can talk to yourself in your mind and you can hear that voice, then who's talking, but who's listening?
Hey,
I was like,
that's
oh
another
wow.
conversation. Like you gotta come to the mindset coaching session for that one. That's a little too deep. Everybody ain't ready for that one, but we gonna we gonna keep it surface today.
So something else that I kind of wanted your opinion on, right? And I'll give you my perspective on it first, and then you can go. Um, Something that I've been thinking about lately is the Adam and Eve story, right? And the way I interpret that, I got it many different ways, but the thing that I'm heavy on now is that men are more logical. The masculine principle is one more of like a logic type of experience, and the feminine principle is more of one of an emotional type of experience. And the way I kind of interpret it is like it's a lesson on filtering your choices through your emotions to your mind and allowing your mind to make the decisions as opposed to leading with your emotions. And that's not to say that you can't make an emotional decision and it turn out good. But I think the principle of it was basically like, listen, you have a brain, a mind, and logic for a reason. And your emotions are gonna kind of be all over the place that time. But I just wanted to hear your opinion on that.
So what can you ask the direct question? I'm like, I heard two different things, so I don't wanna.
Yeah. So one, do you interpret it the same way I interpret it, or do you have a different interpretation? And if your interpretation is different, what do you think about my interpretation of it?
One thing I say is that there's no, as weird as this may sound, there's no right or wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has their different perception of how they view things and how they see things. Like if we all had the same perception, I mean, the world would be perfect. Like just think about that.
It'd be
So
boring.
when I hear people say their opinion, I listen to understand. That's one thing I programmed myself over the last 3 years to really focus on that. It was a book called The Four Agreements. Um, I always got to keep my word. Your word is everything. Never assume. Because the moment you assume, you don't know what a person been through, so you can't assume. You just listen to understand and never take nothing personal. Because people are human. Like we live in a human experience. So when they say certain things, sometimes it's not really even them. Like it's really a spiritual fight out here. That's why we
Mm-hmm.
don't fight against flesh and blood. Like that spirit is serious and it's happening more and more. So that's why you just don't take things personal. Like, all right, you dealing with that now and I come back. Let's see what it is. Let's see if it's a pattern. And the last thing is just do your best. That's all you can
Mm-hmm.
do. Like at the end of the day, nobody can tell you what your best is. My heart goes out to these kids and these athletes. I know I'm bringing that up. It's like we have this expectation, or you should be doing this, or you should be doing that because of that person did that, this, and that. Like, come on now. Like, just because you're living through your kids, because you want them to go to the NFL and NBA because your shortcomings and these things, like, we talking about we shouldn't have adult conversation with these kids, but we put them in adult places. Like you shouldn't come home and the kids should be hearing about, I don't know, where am I going off of this, Lord? I don't know why you making me go this route, but like we say we don't want these kids to have adult being a kid's place, but we put these kids in an adult situation. Like we come home, we talk about our job. We're telling our kid about our job and they have nothing to do with that. They have to be a kid. We have our kids, we make these children, we have 3 or 4 kids, which is wrong. We hear the fruit and multiply. But then we have the oldest one watching all the kids and they don't even get to live their childhood And then when they get older, we judge them when they get older and want to do what they want. Like, we just got to change our mindset with a lot of things. And that's just my opinion. Like, I really believe that we live in our own head and not looking at the big picture. It's a big picture. It's a big world.
It's a real big world. Real big world. What is the nextleveltalk.com? I went to the website and I'm trying to figure out, when I get there, what am I supposed to do? What happens?
Got you. All right. So it's funny you say this. And of course, he's going to bring it out on the live. I'm working with a developer, a team, great, amazing people. But what I've learned, things are moving slow now to COVID, the teams and all that. So I'm ready to rock and roll, but they're not ready to rock and roll. And they're amazing people. And I'm going to say that live if they on here. And Next Level Talk is basically, I just help people reach their full potential through giving them talks and changing their perception. But on Next Level Talk, I was going to give people a platform where they get to, how can I say this, use their expertise and get paid, basically. So I got a community of people who will be using our resources, because I don't like that whole thing of, I got the resources, but you got to do that. Like, nobody wants to give out information, and it's on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's share our resources and let's grow collectively. Like, nobody left behind. Like, the mindset is only a little bit. There's no shortages in life. Like, somebody came to me today and was like, it's a food shortage. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a big ocean out there. The ocean is 70% water. You think it ain't no food or fish in there? Like, you watch too much TV. You're listening to too much. Just came back from Arizona. I seen 10,000 cows. There's a lot of cows out there still living. So the mindset of the people, and I'm not here to bash or anything like that. Like, we got to change the things that we're looking at. Like, we got 5 senses. Like, let me just bring this up. Somebody got on me the other day and said, oh, Sam, you're not a godly because you're listening to secular music and all this. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't listen to the music the way you think I listen to the music. I'm listening to the message. You watch TV all the time. You watch horror movies. I mean, that's close to Santonic as it come, which you're getting on me for listening to something I can control and listen to. But we're not going to get on that. That's just another subject. But that's a mindset thing. Like, people are quick to judge because of what they was taught, but never took the time to really think about that. Like, you watching the news all day, 80% negative. You think the devil don't run the news? Like, he's the prince of the air. He runs the news stations. Grandma, you watching this all day and your mood messing up over something that could be a lie. The weatherman been getting it wrong for the last 5 years. And back in the day, they was getting close and we got all this technology. Like, I'm old enough and smart enough to go outside and be like, okay, it look like it's going to rain. The cloud is this. What do we need that for? I mean, how many times you looked at we ain't going to get on that. That's just a next level of just understanding. Like, you ever notice that the animals, you know, when it's a serious, how can I say this?
Like weather event coming?
Tornado. You never see a lot of animals out there dead, do you? You never do.
Nah, because they got that sixth sense. They like, hey, tornado coming. Let me go fly north or south or east or west. I'm getting out of here.
You know why that? Because they're tapped into their God. They're tapped into their self. They understand. They're not programmed to look at all this other stuff. They're in tune with the land. Like, think about it. Back in the Bible times, they didn't have all these different distractions. That's why they were so close to God, because they didn't have all these different frequencies, spirits, and all. But we ain't gonna get in that. We just gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. I'm gonna pipe down just a little bit.
You ain't gotta pipe down. You go as deep as you want. But do you ever fast?
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I go on fasts very often. 1 week I'll be like, okay, I'm not going to, let me see, eat sugar. Like, I just program. It's a guy called Jim Quick. Brilliant guy. You just got to hear his story. He teach you how to do different fasts. Like, everything is repetition. Like, you just can't say tomorrow I'm just going to stop eating meat. Like, I don't eat meat. I'm a pescatarian. I eat the water stuff, but I don't eat the red meat and the pork and the beef, the lamb and all that. But it took time. Over the years, I would say I ain't gonna do it for 2 weeks. I was like, all right, I got it. I ain't gonna do it
Mm-hmm.
for a month. Okay, I got it. Okay, now I ain't gonna do it for 3 months. I mean, sometimes we have these high expectations, like you just gonna turn it on and turn it off. Everybody not built like that. If that was the case, we can get out of a bad relationship so fast when you see the red flag. But what happens?
You be stuck.
Hey, it's just the reality of it.
It's tough. I recently, so I caught COVID back in December, right before Christmas. But before that, I was doing intermittent fasting. So I was going at least at minimum 16 hours. Sometimes I would go 20, close to 24 hours, right? And I had gotten really good at it. Like I would go to work at night, I would only drink water or just coffee straight, nothing else. And I don't think I had ever been in as much of a clear mind state in my life. You know what I'm saying? I was just like audibly, not that my hearing got better, but my ability to listen was better. Not that my vision got better, my ability to see and look at things like I see you, like I really see you, not like, oh, you're just kind of blurry and I'm lost in my thoughts. I was clear. So I was like, yo, this fasting thing is great, man. So I fell off after COVID because I had lost weight. I had to get myself back together and I've been eating and stuff. But I'm gonna get back to it. So that's why,
Hey,
I wanted to get your opinion on the
hey,
fasting.
all you could do is do your best. I've been there. It took a long time. It really did. It took a long time. And I just want to tell the people that's out there, the good books say it's power in the tongue and it's really real. So just a quick tip. Don't go on a diet. Words are powerful. And diet, it got dye in it. So no, they're gonna say, "Oh, this. What are you talking about? A diet is gonna you're not. It's gonna die off. You're not gonna do it. But once you use your words and a lifestyle, make it a lifestyle. I'm gonna have a lifestyle to do this. I'm gonna have a lifestyle to do that. So the words are so powerful, and I think we don't tap in as much about these words as we should. That's my
Mm.
opinion. That's my
Words are
opinion.
spells. Hey, your opinion matters, right? Words are spells. That's how I see it. And one thing I try to do is like I try to catch double words and triple words and single words, right? So like the last one that I really caught on to, and this was just maybe like 2, 3 months ago, I was like, I need more followers. I would like to have more followers. And then it just hit me like fall lower. And I'm like, we're not supposed to be falling lower. But that's what the spell that is cash, right? Like I want a bunch of people under me. So
All
I'll be
right, so
like,
I'm gonna
I want more friends. I want
help
more
you out. I'm
friends.
gonna just give you a next level tip for anybody that want to grow followers. And this is what I've learned because I study algorithms, I read all the time. So I'm gonna just give you this gem. Um, are you a follower or are you a leader?
I'm a leader.
So if I look at your Instagram right now, are you following more people or more people are following you?
More people are following me than I am following.
Why? If you're a leader.
Say it
So
again.
why would you think Instagram should give you more leaders, more followers if you're not even showing you a leader? They want people at the top to grow. This
Mm-hmm.
is a business. So I challenge everybody, do a social media cleanse. I did this. I was like, gosh, everybody that's at the top, not saying I want to get to the top, they have a little bit of followers because they're leaders. So you got to have that mindset to say, hey, Instagram, look, I'm a leader. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. They're not going to put you at the top because they on the algorithms, they like, why should we put you at the top? And this is a business. People forget Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's a business. They're trying to make, I'm supposed to say this publicly, they're trying to make money. So if you're just doing things just to do it, like I don't come on social media for likes or followers. It's a business. I'm trying to help to impact the people to give them a
Right.
different mindset. I don't sway. I don't drift. It's a book called Out Outwitting the Devil. And that's a
Mm-hmm.
great book, but people would look at it and be like, why would I want to listen to a book called Outwitting the Devil? The author, it's Napoleon Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Every business, your pastor's favorite pastor is going by this motto that this guy wrote this book. And I'm just giving you a little bit about the book. Remember that saying, you need to keep your enemies closer? If the
Mm-hmm.
devil is telling you exactly how he's doing what he's doing, why wouldn't you listen? And I read this
Right.
book, and the book is amazing. I'm not going to give it away. The devil was saying people drift. They say one thing, and then when things don't go their way, they just go to the left and try to do something different. You really ain't believe in it. Like, I'll be honest on here. I've been doing the same thing. If you go back all the way to the bottom of my post, I've been doing this for the last 10 years. I didn't drift. And now that I'm getting here, people say, oh, you just got them out of nowhere. Nobody gets somewhere out of nowhere. They've been putting in the work. It's a muscle. It's like lifting weights. I've been lifting. Now and I see the results later. Everybody, it's a microwave society. I'm being honest. It's a microwave society. Like, everybody wants stuff right then and there. No, they don't want no suffering, no pain. Everybody in the Bible went through some type of pain, some type of turmoil. It didn't happen. You never heard this. You never heard not one story in the Bible where somebody got something the next week. I mean, Job went through a lot. He lost everything, and he went through that. Should I keep going, everybody? Paul,
you ain't got to go
lie. He had to get his name.
But we know him.
But and this is why I challenge people, and it's not to belittle them. It's nothing like this. All out of love. Like, we're gonna get on the relationship stuff. Somebody said, oh, come to my church and do this and do that. You need to find God. Cool, I'm with that. But let's talk first. My soul is at stake. Let's see how much you really go to your church. What was the message last week? Oh, I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to that. Okay. What was the last Bible verse you read? Let's do a Bible game. Hey, Shello, you go first. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. What's your Bible verse? And that's why I get them at. So I'm like, why should I invest my soul? My soul is at stake. And you don't even know a Bible verse. Like, why am I going to your church?
Right.
And it's communication. Like, where are we going at with this? Like, I'm going to go to your church and I'm going to go the whole time. You're going to fall off. And I'm stuck with these people I don't know. And I don't even know the real meaning. No, it gets that deep with me. Like, if you're serious about it, let's be serious. What was the last Bible verse? What was the message? When the last time you got up on the pulpit? Who does this? Where did the money go? I know kids right now that need this money. Like, what's the 10%? Where's it going? If I was to die tomorrow, am I going to get buried in this church where my people's got to pay to come here? So what did I put that money to? Like, I need to know these answers.
Right.
My soul is at stake. I'm not a sheep. I'm a lion. In the Bible, God identified himself with two animals, a lion and an eagle. They run alone. I'm not a sheep. A sheep go with anything. I seen on Instagram, a cat was leading a sheep over a cliff.
And they asking you to be the sheep.
I'm done. I'm gonna calm down.
You good?
Oh, I'm good. I'm always good.
All right, cool. Let's move on to the dating, right? So on one of your
Lord, before I go, I am not an expert at this. I am learning. If anybody got tips, I'm going to pay for a dating coach, all that. Because come on, we can go with it though. I can give you my opinion. That's all that is on this.
Well, I'm happily married. I've been happily married it'll be 7 years this year. We've been together for going on 17 years. So if you want some advice from me, you're more than welcome to ask me. But you told a story about a very similar story to what you were just saying. I guess you were saying that the young lady told you that she was into the Bible, but then I guess y'all was out on a date or something, and she couldn't give you no Bible verse or something like that. You remember telling that story on your live?
Yeah. That was a good one.
Do you get that a lot?
Yes. I do get it a lot. I'm not going to be honest. People. This woman identified me as a sapiosexual. I don't know. Like, as crazy as this may sound, I don't really care about the outside. I care about the inside, because what is the outside? Like, what do that mean? Like, I want to know how you think. Like, if we get in a situation, I want you to be able to know who I am and I know who you are, and we on the same wavelength that we're going to get out of this situation. Like, I need to know how you think. Like, you can't be looking at a reality show. Nothing against reality shows. I know people personally that's doing those things, but I don't want you to have that mindset going into a situation. Like, that's just me. That's just my preference. That's my preference. Like, I want a woman that reads. I would love that. She don't have to read every day, but I want her to be reading something. Like, what are we going to talk about? Like,
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
be yoked. Like that's the
Right.
things I like. I like animals. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, you know where we come from. People getting shot every day. Like I ain't got time to be talking about those type of things. That's gonna happen regardless. Like I want to talk about different things. Like I don't like going out on dates at night. Like what are we doing? What are we going to talk about? Like what let's go on the daytime. Let's go in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do those things. But oh, you saw with that, like one lady, this was funny. She came in my inbox. Hope she not on here. Let me check. I don't remember
She
her
might
name.
be.
Hey,
She
she
gonna be in
came in
your
my
inbox after
inbox
this.
and she was like, "Oh, you should. God told me that you are my man and blase blase blah." I'm like, God, he didn't tell me. God ain't tell me that, but okay, that's fine. That's cool. I'm dating. I'm single. So I asked her 3 questions. You know what she told me? The first question I said, what is your purpose? What is your why? And what do you see yourself in the next 2 years? She gonna say, that's why you single now. You ask too many questions. I was like, what you talking about? Like, how am I gonna get to know you? And like, why am I gonna waste my time and we don't have nothing in common? Like, what are we doing? We just going on a date to just go eat and do what? Like, what are we gonna talk about at the dinner table? Like, really think
Right.
about that. You're feeding your mouth. Like, what is there to talk about?
Mm. Yeah.
That's
I
just my
mean,
opinion.
you know yes, it is your opinion, but your opinion is based in fact, or at least the idea that you want to have a good, successful relationship on into the
I
future,
don't
right?
want to get married to get divorced. For what? Like,
Right.
you can prevent those things now. Like, this is my vision. And if somebody's gonna take it, like nobody heard of a mindset coach. I'm saying it live here. The next 2 years is gonna be a lot of mindset coaches. I know
Mm-hmm.
I'm a trendsetter. I've done a lot of things that I don't even talk about that people in high places took my idea. I mean, it happens. But my vision now is that in the year 2022, a lot of women been broken. Like, you got to go to counseling before we even go start dating now or before we get married. It's going to be something new because people getting tired of wasting their time. Like, look, let's go to a counselor and let's see if we even wasting our time. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people don't know how to hold a conversation. They don't know how to ask questions. They don't even know how to communicate. Like, communication is really big. Like, it's the biggest thing.
Right.
But do we really know how to communicate? Like, I ain't gonna get on that. That's another story.
You said something that I had told me and my sister were in conversation one day, and it just dawned on me. I was like, you know what would be a really cool first date? And I was like, you know, obviously I'm married, so I can't do it. If you're seriously dating for the purpose of meeting someone to be with, a cool first date would be like, yo, let's go to couples counseling. Let's
Hey,
let's
I said
let's
that. I said that. Hey, if you go back on one of my lives, I said it, and everybody was like, "That you doing too much. Why we got to go to counseling?" Like, yo, are we? What are we dating for then? Like, let's learn each other. Like, let's ask the hard questions early instead of we getting stuff for 3, 4 months and then the honeymoon stage over, and then we looking at each other like, I didn't know you didn't clean your bathtub after every shower, or I didn't know you didn't uh wash your dishes on the third. Like, oh, this
right,
is not 1954. Times has evolved. These kids are not wasting time. If you notice, a lot of kids don't even drive anymore. Like, things is changing. They got Uber. Like, I try to wake people up. I really believe in my head that some people are still living in 1944. Like, it's a new
mm-hmm.
year. Like, technology, they about to have a brain chip where I don't even gonna get on that. I was in the conference. It's some wild stuff about to happen. Like, people not ready.
Mm. So you talking about some wild stuff technologically or just in general?
I can't. I signed a disclosure paper. I can't talk about certain things. But let's
Hey,
get back on the relationships. Let's get
I
back on
don't want to be
topic.
part of no lawsuits. I don't need no smoke.
Hey, nah, we ain't gonna do that. I wouldn't even put you in that type of position.
Yeah. So you definitely want to be equally yoked in most, if not always. If you can see the pinned comment, that's my wife. She put her feet down there because I, within the past month and a half, came to the realization that one of the major keys to a successful marriage is foot rubs.
Oh, oh, I'm not gonna get on that because I ain't gonna tell my. Hey, you got to do that. Like, it's got to be a give or take. Like, you got to get outside your comfort zone. If you, this is just how I envision it. If you really care about a person, like, y'all should really write down exactly what you need. Like, what's your top 10 things you need?
Mm-hmm.
And I think about it like every month you got to ask that person that, because what I've learned, and I've been in relationships, I'm not going to tell my business on here, I'll tell my story. Women need change because of their emotions. And if we have effective communication, like, hey, this month, like, I need you to buy me some gifts. Like, you've been lacking. Like, let's communicate that. Like, let me see your top 5. All right, I got this. So then when they come to you, be like, hey, this is what you said. Like, you confusing me now. Like, let's get on that type of level. Like, what we plan for? Like, we got to that's real communication. Like, I got associates. I don't say friends because that's a strong word. I'm like, what do your wife really like? Oh, I don't know. Whatever she tell me, like, what? Like, you don't know these things? Like, what are y'all talking about? She be in her room, I'm over here. I'm like, you're not married. You just got a partner you just live in a house with. Like, it's a book I read. You gotta have what they call time blocking. Hey, babe, we got our both lives, but this time right here, we put the phones away, regardless of what go on, life gonna happen. We need this time right here. Cause I tell people all the time, like, this might stir up something. I ain't gonna do that. Come on. What's the next question?
Stir the pot.
Like,
go ahead, stir it.
How much time do you really spend? You honestly, you give the world more time. If you got a 9 to 5, just think about it. You with them at 8 hours, right? You're putting on a fake facade for people you really don't care. Then you come home to the people you love, and they don't get the best version of you, for real. Think about it. Oh, I'm tired. I went through this, and that. Blase, blase, blase. I don't want to do this. I don't want to. Hey, I thought you loved me, but you just showed all the love. I want the love that you give your work husband. I didn't say that part. The people at work. I want that type of love. Like, can you separate that too? Like, what we got to do to work there? Like, I don't want that other energy and have to wait till the weekend. Like, you love me. Like, let's talk. Like, they getting all your energy. Like, you better have a mad face with them. And when you come home with me, then you come put on that smile. Let's reverse that. But they the one that pay me. Oh, so because they pay, well, how much I got to give you? So I mean, just think about that.
Right.
And people, I don't, with me, I'm like, man, I want to get to a certain spot financially where my queen, my wife, whatever y'all said, well, she don't have to worry about money. Like, it's other things in this world that we shouldn't, that we should be worried about. Like, money not even, I ain't gonna get on that money out of the risk. So that's why I tell people before I get in a relationship, like, look, I got a goal in my head. Like, when I get this certain amount, we good. Then we can go all in. Because if you really think about it, the Bible even say money is everything. And everybody be like, I ain't never heard that scripture. Like, because you only read what you was taught. Like, go to Ecclesiastes 10:19. It tell you. Is it 10:19 or 2:4? Whatever one I said I put it in the chat. It say money is everything. But we so stuck on the scripture that say the love of money is the root of all evil. I don't love that money. I don't love it.
Right.
Just because I want a lot of it, I can do a lot of things with it. I can get this church this. I can get that kid this. Like, I look at money totally different because I was around people that had a lot of money, a whole lot of money, and they broke it down. Like, Sam, let me talk to you real quick. Let me give you the game. I know you was probably taught rich people was bad, this, and that. And they just broke it down to me, and I was like, wow, I got a different perception. Like, think about this, and I'm going to open up people's eyes. Like, you go do that overtime, and you really not getting all that money, and you got to pay all these taxes, but you spent all this time with these people that you don't care about, and your child and your husband or your boyfriend or your girlfriend is getting the lesser version of you. Love that money that much where you couldn't come home and eat with us, or you had to do this extra overtime to make. You ever notice that every time you do overtime, when you get a little bit more money, something always happen, and you got to pay a bill that was unexpected? You be like, well, dang, I just, Like, really think about that. Money,
Right.
like, for real, money is just a tool. Like, I don't put that much emphasis. We need it. It's next to oxygen. Let's be real.
I have this saying, time is the true currency of the universe.
Say that
Right.
again. Say it with your chest out.
Time is the true currency of the universe. Right. And you hit on something that we're gonna have to dig into later on, but like you said, money ain't even real. Like our money, it's not even. I don't want them to shadow ban me, right? But it's
Hey,
not
we're
even
not
back.
talking about that. No shadow back, because I got to make my money off here. So please don't do that. Instagram, I
Okay,
love
okay.
you.
It ain't real. It's not as real as we think it is, right? But to me, the way I look at life is, so I work overnights. I'm a cop, right? So I go out there in the streets in the middle of the night and deal with the good, the bad, and the ugly, specifically for the purpose of what you're saying, because I have to work at this point. I haven't figured out how to, you know, passively income my life so that I don't have to. But I work the shift that I work so that I could be present at home with my wife and kids as much as possible. Because when I'm old, I'm not gonna look back and be like, yo, I did a bunch of work and made a bunch of money. I'm gonna look back and be like, yo, you know, my kids and my wife actually enjoyed the time that I spent with them. And
Come on
those
now.
are the things that matter, you know. So that's it. Something I always do with my guests, right? Top five, dead or alive, right? You got to tell me the top five people, dead or alive, real or fictional, that you would like to sit down and have a intimate one-on-one conversation with. And if you want to go into details about what you would ask them, you can do that too.
Wow. Top five. I ain't never had this question asked me. Let me think. Top five. Um, I know this is gonna be a shocker, but I would want to talk to Jesus first.
Okay.
Um, I will ask Jesus, like, why was your heart the way it was? Why did you go out there and do all? Why did you sacrifice your life for everybody else? Like, I want to have that mindset. Like, what was your thought process? What was you told to do that? Like, that's a question. Like, why did you and the creator implement sin anyway? Like, why was it even a sin? Like, why you just ain't stop and just say, hey, we're just gonna have a peaceful world? Where did that inkling come from? That's just my thought process. It's just my
Mm-hmm.
opinion. You ask me one question, I gotta get out. That would be the first person. The second person will be second person will be, this might come as a shocker, Hitler.
Okay. Hitler's been on mine before, so that's why I'm smiling. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
I would want to ask Hitler, because this, if you really did the research, not what they were in the Washington D.C. area. I went to the museum, like I seen the Holocaust. I actually met the people that was there, and I heard a different perception of what was going on. But my question to him would be, how did you have all these people to conform to your way of thinking? Like, what did you know? What was your brain power like? You know how powerful you have to be. People don't know how short and tall he was and how fragile he was. How did you shift the
Right.
mindset to have all these people believe in what you believed in to kill this bloodline?
Right.
What was going on?
Mm.
Third
I'm with you.
person
That's
would
the
be,
same thing. That's the same. That's the same thing that I had said. I was like, what the Hitler thing did for me was confirm that like laws or principles are can be used for good or evil, right?
absolutely.
And I would want to understand like how did you convince? Because you would think that somebody would be like, this ain't really a good idea. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't happen, or not that we know of. But
Got you.
carry on.
Um, my dad. I want to talk to him. Um,
Okay.
people don't know. My dad died at the age of 6 or 7 years old, and I always question people. To this day, it's funny. I do this little thing on Facebook, right? Everybody say, "Oh, your dad was this and that. I would do anything and everything for him. I would have died for him. I would have did this." I'm his son. You don't even reach out to me. The only time you do something is when I post me and him together. You never say nothing about me. You always say something about him. So how much did you really care? So I would want to ask him, like, it's a real struggle. I mean, I only can speak from a American standpoint and being in the urban community. Like, it's hard. And I say this publicly, like, it's hard growing up without a father because you're only getting a piece of what this guy gonna give you or that guy gonna give you. And a lot of, let me say not, some women just don't understand. Guys that grow up with a father, like, we feel like we got to do everything, and it shouldn't be like that. Like, we should have had the guy to say, hey, this supposed to happen, this and that, this is what I went through, son, is on you. Like, we don't got that. So we getting, like, I don't know about you, like, I had to learn from the drug dealers and this person, like, they just giving me a little piece. So I got to decipher who's giving me right information, who giving me wrong. All right, I see you sleeping with 10 different girls, but I heard your perception of it, but is that right? And then I go to the church, this the married guy, he doing this, but then I find out he's sleeping with this woman, and then I'm confused. And like, that's a real thing. And people don't really dig that deep. Like, us guys, if you're not reading as you get older, and I said publicly, like, we only got one side, we lost for real. And then we want to be in a relationship and we really don't know how to treat a woman. Like, let's just be real. And then I'm going to bring this up. I get confused sometimes. I learned you got to be masculine. You got to be hard. You got to do this. You got to be the man. But then the woman on the other side is you got to say your feelings. But then when you say your feelings, you get, we'll be saying DC, you get joned on. You too soft. Like, which one do you want us to be? Right. Like, what do you want us to be? Like, when we act hard, oh, that's wrong. You got to be more this. Or you suck. Like, it's like confusing. And I that's why I reach out to the young, the youth, especially the athletes. Like, man, y'all got it hard. Like, y'all are grown for real. Like, y'all are walking ATM machine. Like, they gonna love you if you make it. And if you don't, they gonna question why you did this and what happened there. But they don't even look at all the other stuff that happened. Like, I grew up in a household with roaches and rats, and this happened, and I seen my little cousin getting raped here, and my uncle told me this. He was the man then, and now he fell off, and that was my role model. He died, and I never dealt with that. I went to 40 funerals, and I seen all these dead bodies, and you think I'm supposed to be okay? Why you keep sending me to a funeral? What good is in that? Oh, you got to pay homage. Who said that? So we got in our psyche, we got all these dead bodies. What do you think we're going to manifest?
Death.
But nobody thinks about that. Nobody's looking at that. When with all these, don't talk to strangers. But I go to a school, and let's be real, we all got friends and teachers that smoke weed, nothing wrong with it. They drink, nothing wrong with it. You know something that they did, and we're around all these strangers in school, and they got favoritism. They human. We don't got the old teachers like that that's really going across the board, and it's a lot to deal with. But then you want us to be men. We confused. But nobody talks about that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, one thing about being married and having a therapist also, because I go to therapy every 2 weeks. My therapist, shout out Dr. E, is I learned
Dr.
and reading
E,
a
I don't
bunch
know
of
who
books.
it is.
Dr. Evans, Empower All Day. That's his Instagram handle. He's a good dude. And a book that I read. So in conjunction, being married, going to therapy, and this one particular book that I read has really helped me handle my dealing with what you're saying in terms of emotions. It's called Difficult Conversations, right? And I don't know if you've heard about it, but basically it explains how to communicate with people during difficult times. So if you and I are in disagreement, the idea is I'm not necessarily listening to what you're saying so that I can prove you wrong. I'm listening to learn from your perspective. I don't have to agree. It goes beyond agreeing or disagreeing, right? It's like, let me actually hear you. That and having the ability, like you talked a lot about communication. A big part of communication that I think gets overlooked is the ability to be criticized without being triggered.
Say that
Right?
one more
So
time. You got to remix that. I'm sorry. This is your show. I'm sorry. All right, let me stop.
nah, I told you this is your show. I'm just the host. But I gotta pull it back. What was I saying? an important aspect of communication that gets lost is the ability to be criticized without being triggered, or at least the ability to acknowledge, hey, that triggered me. What's happening with my emotions? Is what he or she is saying true, false? Is there some truth, a little truth? And with that, as a man, it helps me to be able to acknowledge my emotions. So I'll start small. Like if I'm not feeling good that day, and my wife's like, "Hey, what's wrong?" I'll just put a label on it. I'm kind of sad. I'm frustrated, right? And being married is so cool because you have at least that one person you can go to who's not expecting you to be like Superman 24/7. So shout out to my wife.
Shout out. Let's shout out, man. Yeah.
So you got your dad, you got Jesus, Hitler, and your dad. Who you got number 4?
Let's go with mom.
Moms, okay.
Cause why I say mom is that what's the main question again? So I won't go off topic.
No, you're doing your top 5 dead or alive. These are your 5 people, dead or alive, real or fictional, that you want to sit down and have an intimate one-on-one conversation with.
Got you. So I really believe I'm only speaking from my perspective. Like I believe my mom, let me speak for my mom. She only told me what she wanted to hear, and she only told me what she felt was needed to be said. I think that if we break the generational curse, we just needed to, I understand that they say some things just be dead and buried. I get that. But the core thing that your child asks you, I think we just need to be upfront and honest because kids are very smart. And I was always smart. I can remember stories. So if I ask you the story 8 times and it keep changing, like, Mom, what was the real story? So I want to ask her, like, regardless in a room, if it's going to hurt me or hurt whatever, is your skeletons in your closet? I want to know who I am. Because if you really think about it, your parents is really shaping you to be who you are. You don't know who you are when you come in this world. You're just a sponge. They're only telling you things that happen from their perception, and they're giving you information, and that's why you act the way you act. So I want to know, like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Like, tell me the truth. I'm grown now. Like, let's let all that kid stuff. Let's break this generational curse. Why do we do this religion? What made you cook in this pot? Why do you click? Like, just tell me, like, let's get right down to it. Because we don't want to have those uncomfortable conversations because something may pop up later. Like, man, we get one shot at this thing called life. Like, don't take my identity away from me. I always say, don't take my choice away from me. Let me make my choice. Is my dad my real dad? I'm just throwing it out there. Because we all know we had those people like, girl, I know he was sleeping with. Like, you taking the kid whole identity away, and then you act. Then when they acting crazy, supposedly doing all this stuff, they don't even know who they are because it started with you or started with me because we got all these secrets. We got all these things and we trying to hide these things. So this is my opinion. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Nah, I respect that. So you got Jesus, Hitler, your dad, your moms, and who's your number 5?
Me.
Yourself?
Yeah. And I say me because am I who I say I am? And I had that tough talk with myself 2 years ago, like too old to be passing blame on why I'm acting this way or why I'm acting that way. Like, man, you need to find out who you are. If you know who you are, and I had to learn who I am, regardless of what people may say, that's their opinion. Nobody knows you like you. I'm 38. I've been with myself for 38 years. All you can do is give me advice. You can't give me orders. That's all you can do. Oh, I ain't gonna go in on that, but go ahead.
Nah, it's all good. Like a lot of the stuff you say, it triggers me. So one of my top 5 kind of changes from time, consistently. I pick different people, but one of my top 5 right now is my 5-year-old self. Right. So, actually what I'll do is I'll do a meditation to it. So when I was in the 1st grade, I started school when I was 4. So when I was in the 1st grade, I was 5 and then I turned 6. And they thought that I was, I don't know, at the time, I guess, slow or on the spectrum or whatever the case may be.
Before you go on, who makes that up? Like, I always ask these questions. Like, we got new days like Juneteenth and Earth Day and all this and all that. I just want to give people a perspective. I'm like, who's the one that voted on this? Because I ain't vote. who made these days up? And then people be like, well, you just doing too much. Doing what? So I'm supposed to go with a lie? Like, where's there written that it's supposed to be Earth Day or like somebody got paid to get that day there. Let's just be real. Like, so when people say, oh, you don't celebrate holidays, what's wrong with you? Like, I do my research on it. Like, I'm not going to celebrate something that's false, that's pagan. The Bible say that, pagan. But we ain't gonna get on that. But go ahead, I'm gonna let you go what you want. I just had to get that out.
Nah, it's all good. Do your thing. Do your thing. So I was saying what I do in meditation is I was a shy, quiet kid. I wouldn't talk to anybody but my mom, right? And, of course, my dad, my sister. But when I would go to school, I wouldn't talk to anybody. So now what I do is I'll do a meditation where I actually go back as myself today and talk to my 5-year-old self. And it's like time travel, right? Like I can go back in time and let the 5-year-old me know, like, yo, it's all right. Like you did a good job. It's cool. Everything is smooth. So all of the worries that you have, you're gonna make it through. So myself, my younger self is one of my 5, and I'm trying to decide if my deathbed self is one of them, but I ain't really ready to go there yet. You know what I'm saying? So you got Jesus, Hitler, your dad, your mom, and yourself. All good, all good. Well, one more question for you, and then I'm gonna let you go so you can get back to relaxing and healing at the next level. I always give my guests an opportunity to ask me a question. So if you have a question for me, this is your moment to ask me a question.
My question to you would be relationship. Why did you wait so long to build that foundation with your wife now? Why did you wait so long before you put a ring on it? Like, I see the vision, and I just want you to say it out loud so the people can understand why it's important to build a foundation instead of just jumping into something. Just go with the flow. Why did you do that? Why is that a tough question? Did you ever get that question before?
I've had that question before. It's a bit of a story, but I'm willing to go into it if you got time. Not super long, but so when me and my wife started talking initially, it was the summer before she went off to college, right? And so she went to school down in Georgia and down in Atlanta, and I stayed here in the DMV. So the first 4 years were long distance relationship, her coming home in the summer, coming to visit and stuff like that. Year 5, I was actually ready. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 5 years older than my wife. Okay, so I'm a little bit more prepared for that portion of life. She wasn't ready at the time. So, I had to pretty much wait it out because I knew that's who I wanted to be with, because I just knew she was my one. She just wasn't ready to be married at that point in time. But waiting that long, we got married on our 10-year anniversary. The benefit to it was that it gave us time to work through all of the hardships, all of the negativity. It gave us each other a chance to grow, to be the adults that we, are foundationally going to be for the duration, right? It made us more patient with each other. It improved our ability to communicate. It helped me to better understand women in general. I'm sure it helped her to understand men more in general. And once you reach a level with a person to where you could genuinely give them your thoughts, emotions, and opinions, knowing that they may disagree, but they have an understanding, like this is just a different human having an experience, and this is their thought, emotional opinion, then it's easier to be equally yoked with them. So that's my answer, man.
Hey, I appreciate you sharing that. I'm pretty sure it touched some people on here, because I always say we are messengers. Like, God uses each and every one of us as a messenger. God can use anybody. He used a donkey. Like, people forget all that stuff. Like, so I just appreciate you helping me out to get an understanding of where I want to go on my next journey when it comes to relationship, because it's a different world out there. Like, I mean, people laugh at me like, I want to see baby pictures now. Like, is all this stuff changing and all? Like, it. Whew.
Yeah.
I gotta see a lot. Like, I gotta.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody laugh at stuff like that, but I need to know a lot. Like, I want to know what's going on. Like, let's go meet the family. Like, let's do a lot of things before we take that leap of faith. Because I'm gonna be honest with you. now with my mindset now, like it just can't be about love. Like I was taught, when you fall in love and all that, and I learned over the years, and I ain't gonna tell my business, I'm gonna tell my story. Like people fall in and out of love all the time. That's like a building. If you ain't got the right foundation, and it seems like you got the right foundation, like y'all got a foundation like this, y'all put the work in. After we fall out of love, then what? Like what are we gonna fall back on? I see how people treat people that they love. I get scared. I'm like, man, don't love me, just like me, because y'all treat the people better that you like. And I don't know why I feel that way, because, look, I'm going to be real with you. And I don't know these people on Instagram, like, you want to see me do good, but not better than you. Like, all you got to do is push your heart. Let me not even go there. That's a little bit too deep. But I just appreciate you having me on your show. Man, you're going to do amazing things. And like I always say, every time you open your mouth, you're interviewing for your next job or your next gig. And just know that stuff about to happen for you. All right?
My man, I'm looking forward to it. When the NEXTLEVELTALK.com pops off, please shoot me a DM, tag me to a live, let me know what's up. I sign up for it. You could be my mindset coach. I have a therapist and a mindset coach. I'm down for you, okay?
So let me just say this, like, therapy is good. It's therapy, but this is why mindset coaching, I had this vision that God gave me. Like, a therapist only can see you if you can afford it, like once a month. And like, is that person really remembering everything you was talking about? Are they really pouring into you that you need? So that's why you need a life coach or a mindset coach, because they're with you on the everyday struggle. Like, that's like, let's be real. You go to church on Sunday and then you fall off by Wednesday, then you got to go back to the hospital. I'm sorry, you got to go back to the building and get yourself pumped back up to, you know what I'm saying, everybody's not built like that. That's why you shouldn't judge. Like, everybody go through their own struggle. And I used to dislike when somebody come in and say, where was you at last week? Who are you to say where they was at last week? Like, who made you the captain? Like, we all going through life outside here. Well, you're not going to heaven if you weren't here. Like, what do you mean I'm not going? You wrote that down in the book of like, come on, man. Like, that's a learned behavior. And I hope it's a lot of pastors that follow me. I'm sorry, pastor, if you're on here. I'm connected to a lot of people at the top. But let's just be real. Like, how you know what fellowship or what relationship I would have with God? I could have been on my knees 10 hours or whatever. And come on, some of us still scared to worship while we at church. You worried about what everybody else going to think because of what happened. You ever notice that the church is always packed when it's a natural disaster? Like, you remember 9/11, the churches was packed. Let me not get in there. But I appreciate you having me on. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. I love you, my brother. Be safe out there, okay?
That's what I'm talking about. That's what guys got to say. We love you. Like, we got to spread love. The Bible ain't say like. We got to love each other. And I love you too, man. All right, have a great one.
All right, peace.
All right.